All right, today we're gonna learn French toast, okay? Glad that you found this recipe because I want to teach you that it's just not this crazy hard thing to do. But the first thing I want to talk about, or a couple things before we start with the recipe, is that today I'm going to use a non-stick pan, okay? Sometimes people ask all the time, you know, what kind of pan should I use? Should I be using this or for that? Yes. There are certainly different pans that will give a better result. And for French toast, I like to use a non-stick pan. So this is really important. So with French toast, you can use any kind of bread that you want. And basically, it's just kind of dredging your bread and then frying it on both sides. And then you either do powdered sugar or syrup or fruit or whatever you want, just like you find in your own restaurants. But you can now do this at home. But I really want to teach you just some very simple steps on how to make this happen. The other thing I want to talk about, we talked about the bread. Today, wherever you're watching, I'm using some raisin bread. Okay, it's not a whole lot of raisin in there and they are kind of ground up. I like this because it adds some actual fruit to it already, but you can use regular white bread if you want. Whatever you want to do. The whole purpose here is to help you learn and gain the confidence on making a nice, delicious breakfast dish that you can have confidence in making every single time. All right, so that's the bread we're going to use tonight. We're also going to be using 2 eggs, okay? I'm also going to use some heavy whipping cream. Now, you can replace this and use milk or half and half, but I really prefer the heavy whipping cream because what happens when we make the French toast with that whipping cream is that it'll get more like a custard base. So it's a little more, I know, I like that soft custard interior. So that's what I'd recommend. But if you want to use regular milk or half and half, that's perfectly fine, okay? So let's get started. We're gonna start off again, like I said, getting our little batter together. We're gonna use 2 eggs. Okay, make sure you always watch, make sure there's no shells. Now, we're going to take 1 cup of the heavy cream. Okay. Really simple. Now, you just get a fork. Mix this all together until you see the turn color. That's what you're looking for. That's when you know your yolks, your egg is beaten in there. When it turns color. If it's too white, then you know it's not beaten enough. And there you have it. All right. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to get our pan together. Again, we're using a non-stick pan. Okay, so the heat. Normally I say we need to cook on high heat. High heat is very important when we're doing certain things like maybe cooking a steak or braising some chicken or something like that. With French toast, I want you to see that I'm going to bring this down to a medium low. Okay, that's what we want. I'm going to let that slowly heat up. Now we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to add a combination of unsalted butter, and I'm using 2 tablespoons, okay? And I'm also going to put in a little bit of oil, about 2 tablespoons. And the reason we're doing butter and oil is that it really adds a little bit more of the crust to the French toast itself. I just like the way it all turns out. Of course, if you wanted to use just oil, you could. I would use extra virgin olive oil, or I would not use just plain butter because it may burn on you and you don't want that. So we do a combination. Okay, now that's getting nice and hot, so let's move back over here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our bread. We want to get it nice and dredged. Okay? And then you just place it in. And take another piece. Down. Nice and dredged. Just like so. Have confidence with it. Believe you can do this. I'm going to get one more in there. Get it down, dredge it nice. Like so. Let it drain off. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit in here. These are going to take probably about 2 minutes on each side. But because we have the pan on a medium low, it's actually developing that custard already. That nice, all of that milk and the eggs, it's all coming down into it. And that's where your flavor is going to come from. So keep it low, and then we'll turn this in about a minute. All right, so let's come down here and look. I've turned 2 over already, and you can see how nice and crusty. Look at that. So that custard inside. Let's turn this last one over. And from here, you just want to, again, give it another 2 to 3 minutes. And just, again, one of the things that I really want to, and you'll hear me talk about this and as you watch more of these videos, is it's really important to let cooking cook, right? Be patient, trust what you're learning here, because when you learn the techniques, everything else is gravy, no pun intended. But seriously, if you can just trust, give it time, let cook, you will end up with some amazing food every time. All right, so I turned the burner off now. I can just, yeah, these are just looking so good. So what we're gonna do is take it off. About this time you've got kids or grandkids or your partner or whoever it may be, or maybe it's just you. You're like, oh my goodness, if you could smell this. And you just do like so. And then you can find any kind of syrup you want. I actually like to use a little bit of it's a log cabin original, but I mean, there's some great maple syrups out there. You could use blueberry syrup, you could use raspberry syrup, whatever you want, whatever you order in a restaurant, but now you've made this at home. So just gonna pour a little bit on top like so. And there you have it, some amazing French toast that you could make at home. But listen, I want to talk to you about something real quick. When I was in culinary school, 43 years ago, I graduated culinary school. I was young. I was only 18 years old. But let me tell you something. The thing I want to talk about here is I went to culinary school because I wanted to become a chef. But what I realized over the years were there were a lot of people that didn't want to become chefs. They wanted to be engineers, they wanted to be doctors, they wanted to do whatever they wanted to do, and more power to them. But they did want to learn how to cook. And that may be where you are right now, that you don't have the time or have the desire to go to culinary school to get all the degrees and pay all that money for that. You just want to learn how to cook. And so that's why I'm so happy you're here. And if you really want to, what I ended up doing is I said, okay, what could be an alternative for someone that just wants to learn how to cook? And so what I did is I created a book. It's an ebook form, downloadable, that basically took all of my years in culinary school and put it in less than 100 pages. And I'm really proud of it because it allows you to get the experience and the knowledge of the basics of cooking just like I learned in culinary school, but in written form, a lot faster. We've really learned and accelerated so much in technology and in so many different gadgets and things we can use now that it really is a book that you should have with you, which will help you just organize everything that comes with cooking. And one last story before I go, and the reason why this book is so important. People don't realize that my first 6 months of culinary school, I didn't see a kitchen. Well, I shouldn't say that. I didn't see a pot or a pan. I didn't see fire. We were too busy learning the other things about how to either run restaurants or how to keep your own home kitchen together. And those are the things you're going to find in the book. It's not a cookbook. Cookbooks don't teach you how to cook, okay? Recipes are useless if you don't understand techniques. So really what it is, it's a book, like a condensed culinary school book, right? It's condensed to teach you the basics, everything from what's in your pantry, what kind of salt to use, high heat, low heat, medium heat. It's just a really great guide. And if you want your copy, there's a link in the description box below. Grab your copy, you will not be disappointed. Until next time, I'm Chef Brian. I'll see you soon.